Joining me right now is David Bossie from Citizens United, as well as has been involved in many issues on the conservative stage for as long as I've known him, and is a great spokesman for our views. And David, I think we're going to have, I'm hopeful that tomorrow when they come back in, that we might be able to just keep having these votes every day and showing that it's the Democrats that want to shut down the government. Has Rand Paul switched his vote? I looked yesterday, but I couldn't find it.
He didn't. He did not that I know of. No,
yeah.
And it's troubling. But he has, and his positions on
I understand.
spending.
Yeah.
And I get it. But I do believe if we get to 59. That
he'll
Rand
come over.
Will,
yeah.
Yeah. I think he's trying to make his points, trying to earn. And by the way, he pulls our conference in the right direction generally on funding issues. So we'll see where that ends up. But look, this is a much bigger thing than just one guy. This is about right versus wrong. This is about the Democrat Party being so out of touch with the American people, and the Democrat Party being totally controlled. And look, folks like you and I, we know this as well as we know, waking up in the morning. But the American people are getting a belly full this week about Trump derangement syndrome. Anything he is for, they are against. It's common sense. That's what the president is espousing here. Common sense. A clean continuing resolution. Historically, that is what the Democrats have always supported. But because Donald Trump supports it, they're against it.
And voted on 13 times. Most of it while Biden was president. I mean, it is crazy. And what I understand the continuing resolution, the clean continuing resolution to be, is there were a couple of little shifts and some addition of security, money for security for Congress. But basically exactly what's been voted on the last 13 times. Now, do I like that we keep doing continuing resolutions? No, I don't. But John Thune...
No, you and I have been against them.
That's right. John Thune has said that they are close to actually finishing a budget on time and that they need the time to do it. And I think eventually, I hear there's a meeting, Dave, of 20 of these senators that, that are bipartisan, that are going to be meeting and talking today. And hopefully they're going to get the votes they need, because all they got to do is look at a map and look at the senators where Trump won, like my two senators, where Trump won, and they should be voting for this.
Well, your two senators are part of the problem, not part of the solution.
Amen to that.
Right? And your state needs to solve that, okay? Because
we're going to believe me.
It's to the detriment of Georgia, all Georgians, and being an University of Alabama fan, I don't really usually lose a lot of sleep over Georgia, but and I'm sorry about Saturday. Well, not sorry.
That's all right. I'm a double dog, but I can take it.
Oh, you guys dish it out. So you could certainly take it.
That's right.
For sure. So no, this is a problem that your state needs to fix, in that, if we didn't have those two left-wing leftists, I mean, just as hardcore, I don't call them progressive. They're just barely socialists. They are part of the problem. We have America has a 37 staring at a $38 trillion debt. And we have out of control spending that this president, this House, this Senate is trying to, for the last 8 or 9 months, trying to claw back so that we can sustain it, because we are on a track for bankruptcy. The American people are just starting. I don't believe they really understand it, but they're just starting to understand the gravity of the situation. And we need to make, as a nation, the tough choices today when we have the chance to make them, as opposed to them being made for us.
And No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, because there's going to be a moment in time. We don't know when that is. That's the problem. There's no calendar date, but we don't know when it is. But America's on track for insolvency. and we have to get our spending under control.
So I sent a message to Senator Ossoff. He used to come on the show. He doesn't come on anymore. But I sent a message to
I'm
him
shocked.
before the thing, and I said, look, bottom line is you had 50.6% of the vote, and in the last election, Trump won. What you're doing by voting no is just giving more power to Donald Trump, which I'm fine with for the moment. Okay? For the moment, I'm fine with Donald Trump having more power. And if you really believe what you say, then really you're not being reasonable. So these Democrats are saying Trump is a despot, Trump is Hitler, Trump is this. But if you give us health care for illegal immigrants, we'll let you have what you want.
How outrageous is that? Let's just go back to your point of that senator. Not because Donald Trump, to extend your point, Donald Trump won the state of Georgia and won it pretty well.
Yes.
Your two senators are not representing those voters when it comes to President Trump's agenda. So they're in conflict. And so the American people are waking up to the fact that these leftists care more about illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, than they do American citizens. And we've been doing this together for a long time, but Santelli, the guy from CNBC, famously said in the lead up to the Tea Party movement, now back 15 years ago, he said, America is going to be lost when there are more people drinking the water than carrying the water. And that's the watershed moment that we are in right now. We have to get our finances under control. So the left wants to spend $1.5 trillion, add it to the current spending budget that we don't have. We don't have the current budget, let alone $1.5 trillion additional dollars. We don't even have what is currently being spent, which is why there are many members of Congress, including some that we've talked about, that want additional spending cuts, that they want bigger cuts. And that's what the Democrats have done. They're allowing now a complete Russ vote, who is a hero. This guy is courageous. This guy is wicked smart. And the Democrats have now allowed Russ Vogt the opportunity to go to the president and tell him exactly what he can do, how he can do it, and how he can make it permanent in the restructuring of our bloated federal bureaucracy. And that's what the American people want. That's what they voted for. And by the way, that's what's needed. It has to be done. We have to get our federal government under control, smaller, more efficient, better run government, which you could see this president's cabinet is running their agencies so much better than any time before in history.
And I want to say to folks, because we have these two senators that we have, you can make an impact by calling their office and by letting them know. But here's what I'll tell you, what I learned from working for a senator. Don't call the D.C. office. Okay? They don't really care because they're just going to work for somebody else. You got to call the local office because the people that work at the local office have a vested interest in that candidate. And they're going to actually put the message forward. And they care about the message more. Call the local office, let them know you want them to vote for the continuing resolution. And if you do enough of that, we can make a change. And I want to ask you one more question, Dave. We talked about Rand Paul at the beginning, but Rand Paul's plan, which I think is the exact right plan for what we need to do to get our budget right, and I'm sure he's talked to Russ Vogt about it, is that you go back to 2019 spending, you adjust it for inflation, maybe add a little bit more for defense or something like that. But you are basically $200 billion away from a balanced budget if you do that. And it's reasonable. It gets all the COVID money out of there. But nobody wants to be reasonable. It's so crazy.
Well, that's what it goes to my point earlier, common sense.
Yes.
That's what this president ran on. It's just two words. Common sense. The president of the United States, Donald Trump, ran on it in 2024. He ran on it in 2016, obviously in 2020. But he made it a centerpiece of his re-election campaign was common sense. We are going to do things that, look, let's just use crime as an example. these blue cities, these blue states that did not vote for Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump isn't just sending in the FBI and National Guard into red states, into red cities, where people supported him to help them. He's doing it for every American. He wants every American to be safe. He is the president of all the people, not just some of the people. And so it's who he is, and it's common sense that he sends in the federal, whether it's National Guardsmen or FBI or whomever, into Chicago, into Portland, into Los Angeles, because those are the places that are out of control, crime-ridden, and the American people don't feel safe in those cities. And look what he just did with Washington, D.C. A month in, Washington, D.C. is a different place. And so it is incredible now what's going on. And I think other mayors are seeing it.
It's because of what he did that AOC and Bernie Sanders could walk around D.C. yesterday filming a video and not getting in trouble. I'm telling you what, it was funny. David Bossie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Martha. Appreciate it.
Thank you.